There's quick.
Hey everybody, it's Tim with the Attitude for Gratitude podcast down here at 4026 Washington Avenue North. We're at Will Work for Recovery. We do the podcast every Friday night. We go live at 8 p.m. Sometimes we go a little earlier, but I will make those notifications if that's the case. We're on TikTok Live, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and trying to break into some other platforms. But we are down here at Will Work for Recovery. We have meetings every night of the week at 7 p.m. On Wednesdays, we do a men's meeting and a separate women's meeting at 5 p.m. Come on down, do that hour meeting, hang out for some fellowship for an hour or so, and then we have the big meeting at 7 p.m. Every night of the week, there's a 7 p.m. meeting. Tuesdays, there's a Well Brady meeting. That's an Indigenous persons-based meeting where we do some spiritual readings and then share. Thursday night's more of a spiritual style meeting as well with Megan. Friday is a call-up meeting where you get a ticket and they call your number and you stand up and talk about what's been keeping you clean and sober. There's just all types of variety of recovery down here at Will Work for Recovery with the structured meeting every morning at 6:30 a.m. and on Sunday it's at 7 a.m. Other than that, like, this is a place that it's a resource center. It's an RCO. It's a recovery community organization. We have peer recovery specialists. We have multiple different avenues of recovery down here. We have a computer room with computer classes that have started, and they continually restart. So look into that. Speak with myself, Paul, Carolyn, anyone who's of service down here can kind of get you linked in. We've always got more things that come about. We got Chucky the Soap Man down here who's making soap by the bundles. Come on down and get some. If you haven't tried this soap, like, I implore you to give it a shot. Everyone who gets some always comes back for more. And Chuck's like, he's a godly man with the biggest heart of anyone I've ever met. He makes this soap and just hands it out. He does take donations, but basically I'm always watching him just hand soap out. So it's just, it's part of the different things that we do down here. Wednesday nights, there's a recovery podcast that they've started. It's called Rule 62 with a rotating type format of open door policy. Anyone can come in and share about their stories. And Friday nights, so the night of the podcast at 8:30, Big O started Recovery Okie. Like, there's just multiple things. And then Race has got the fire pit going all through the winter. He's built this big, huge, like, miraculous type fire pit with all these pallets around it. Just a lot of stuff happening down here. We got ping pong tables and foosball tables and prayer rooms and big monitors with big screen movies playing, all sorts of stuff. We have a full workout room. Come on down here, check it out. 4026 Washington Avenue North. If you're struggling, please reach out. Down 988 Intergroup or come on down. Get ready, buckle up for the show.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for entertaining the commercial I made. That gave me time to share it to all the different platforms. Tonight, we have got Rick and Misty in the house. We are doing step 9, and there'll be maybe a little bit of step 8 in there, maybe some 7, maybe some 10. Who knows? But it's step 9. We're going to be we're going to be having the podcast tonight. And if you want to follow along, I believe they are going to be opening up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and maybe even the 12 and 12. I don't know. It depends. Just the big book. So with that said, like, buckle up, relax, get some popcorn, whatever it looks like for you to enjoy a show. Share it with people, share it on different platforms, hit the like, the subscribe. I don't know. All those things I'm supposed to tell you, pretend I told you. And let's get this thing going. We got Rick and Misty back in the house. And before it's over, I think I'm holding a hostage to confirm next month too. So either way, if you have questions throughout the show or comments or whatever, just put it in the live comment section, or my phone number is going along the bottom. You can reach out to me directly and I'll do my best to get to questions. Other than that, like, it's a very informative show. So enjoy and let's get her going. Camera switch so you don't have to look at this. We got there, and now camera. There it is, right in front of my face. It's only on you right now, Misty. Boom, big smiles. There we go. Well, Welcome back to the show. Who are you again?
Rick.
Welcome to the show, Rick, and
Misty.
welcome back to the show, you two. So, is there even a way to recap everything up till now? Something nice and easy. It'd be like, oh, this is what we've covered, and now we're getting on to this.
Like 1 through 8.
Yeah, is there a good way to recap that without it?
That's a Rick thing.
Yeah, I know. Didn't you see the laugh?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a little much.
If you're all right, so here's the other thing I want to really quick share about who's in the house tonight is on Wednesdays, they do a 4-step workshop down at 2218. Been doing it for 30 plus years. Doesn't matter where you're at if you're on your 4-step, but you're welcome to show up any Wednesday at 6:30. And a lot of times people come in with sponsor and sponsees and whatever the case is, but it doesn't matter where you're at. It's about a 7 to 8 week cycle.
Ongoing.
Yep. And they'll provide sheets. Otherwise, bring your big book and check it out. It's free to show up. And yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to make sure I promoted. All right, let's get after it, kiddos.
Okay,
I'm not on camera, it's just you do. So I can sit here and eat like an idiot.
so assuming you've done a 4-step inventory
Mm-hmm.
and you've done a 5th step, and then you got 6 and 7, obviously, after that. Now we're right in the middle of 76, page 76, where it says, now we need more action.
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. We have a list of all persons we have harmed and to whom we are willing to make amends. We made it when we took inventory. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self-appraisal. Now we go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves.
So step 8 says, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. So that step is not about making amends. It's about making a list and becoming willing to make the amends. And that generally happens when you do a 4th step.
You get your list.
Yeah, you get a list. You're looking at the people you're resentful at, and you find out that you owe the people that you're resentful at amends.
So hold on to that list you make during your 4-step for this.
Well, that's up to you. Whatever.
Did you?
No,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. So now we're up to made direct amends. This is 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. And that's a big deal. The except when to do so would injure them or others. We'll get into that a little further on there.
If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol.
Well, that's because these guys were dying from the withdrawals from the booze. And this wasn't a game. It wasn't that they lost their driver's license or their family wanted them to sober up. They literally were physically dying from the
Life and
withdrawals. Yeah, it was life and death. It wasn't a game.
When I've heard these horror stories, my sponsor tell me some of the historical stuff, but these are the days when they're making the bathtub gin and like they're dying from results of some of the shit they were drinking too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Probably there are still some misgivings. As we look over the list of business acquaintances and friends we have hurt, we may feel diffident about going to some of them on a spiritual basis. Let us be reassured. To some people, we need not and probably should not emphasize the spiritual feature of our first approach.
On our first.
On our first approach. We might prejudice them. At the moment, we are trying to put our lives in order, and this is not an end in itself. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us.
That's our real purpose.
It is seldom wise to approach an individual who still smarts from our injustice to him. and announce that we have gone religious. In the prize ring, this would be called leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to being branded fanatics or religious bores? We may kill our future opportunity to carry a beneficial message. But our man is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong.
A sincere desire. Yeah.
He is going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries.
Of course. If you stole his money, you should give him his money back,
Mhm.
you know?
Instead of talking about,
Yeah, instead of talking about spiritual
Spiritual.
ideas and hiding behind that stuff, you know?
we don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we are willing to announce our convictions with tact and common sense.
There's a big deal. That'd be good to do it with tact and common sense.
The question of how to approach the man we hated will arise. It may be he has done us more harm than we have done him, and though we may have acquired a better attitude toward him, we are still not too keen about admitting our faults. Nevertheless, with a person we dislike, we take the bit out of our teeth.
In our teeth.
In our teeth, sorry. We take the bit in our teeth. What does that even mean?
What do you mean?
What take the bit in our teeth?
We do it.
Oh.
We don't screw around.
It is harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it much more beneficial to us. We go to him in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feelings and expressing our regret.
Yeah. That's important. It's the way you got to go to him.
With love and grace.
Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Simply, we tell him that we will never get over our drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out our past. We are there.
Wait a minute. You're adding some words here. Try that again.
Wait. Simply, we tell him that we will never get our. Oh my God. Simply, we tell him that we will never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. We are there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so. Never trying to tell him what he should do.
That's a big one. You know, because
Go ahead.
Yeah, because people, I've heard it so often around the AA rooms where they'll say, well, you should go to them and ask them what you should do to make it right. I wouldn't recommend that. What if they say something outrageous?
Yeah.
What if they come up with some, because they're pissed off, and they put some outrage, and I know a guy that this happened to. And then what are you going to do? I know a guy who went to his girlfriend and tried his former girlfriend. He lived with her mother at their house, and she had an idea how much money he had owed her, and he wasn't real sure. So he goes there and asks her how much it is and what he should do, and she put an outrageous number on it, and that he just left with another resentment and more trouble. You better figure it out in the 8th step and in the 4th step what you owe. It's not, first of all, why would you put it on somebody else to determine what you should do?
Right.
That's your job. It's not theirs. You got to take responsibility. See, hey, if you're wrong and you say something outrageous to them, then you can have a conversation, I suppose, about it. But you got to get some clarity on it before you go and make an amend, or you could get in big trouble. Never trying to tell him what he should do.
Well, that's that part of playing God. When you start telling, from what I've seen and what I've experienced and heard from others too, it's the same thing. It's, I'm not here to tell you what to do. If I'm in a sponsor relationship, that's not my job to tell you what to do.
Well, a lot of people think it is.
I know, and that's that touchy subject, how things have changed over the years. And I like your take on it, always have. Rick's he's holds strong to it. And I appreciate it. Not many people do.
Yeah.
They hold to this new shit of, I'm supposed to be over here telling you what your character defects are as your sponsor. No, I'm not.
Yeah, well,
You see it though, all the time.
yeah. It's just,
Sponsors over here pointing out what your character defects are when I think we're on the same page with that, but it's not popular.
yeah, well, that's the former step. Step
Yeah,
6 and 7, you know?
His faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our matter is calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the results or
Yeah.
result.
We stick to our own. That's a key thing. You don't talk about what he did or they did or what you think that they did.
I think that's really important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. I did that with my ex and it,
Oh, it didn't work?
no, it backfired. Well, it just started a fight. It was
Another- yeah.
exactly
More
the same
resentment,
thing.
like you
Yep.
were saying earlier. We don't do this properly, more resentments are gonna come of it, or you're gonna create more issues.
Yeah, I went into it expecting once I apologized or did an amend, he would be receptive.
Receptive of it.
Yep.
Or that he would own something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Remember,
luck.
we're the ones working on self, not these
Right.
people we're making
It
amends to.
Backfired for me. In 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens. Sometimes the man we are calling upon admits his own fault. So feuds of years standing melt away in an hour. Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress. Our former enemies sometimes praise what we are doing and wish us well. Occasionally, they will offer assistance. It should not matter, however, if someone does throw us out of of his office. We have made our demonstration, done our part. It's water over the dam.
Yeah. You go there to clean up your own mess.
Watch your own bobber.
Most alcoholics owe money.
Wow. Who'd have thought?
We do not dodge our creditors. Telling them what we are trying to do, we make no bones about our drinking. They usually know it anyway, whether we think so or not. Nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory it may cause financial harm.
See, this is written because Dr. Bob had that issue.
Oh, yeah.
He had gotten sober in May of 35. And he was sober about a month, and he went to an AMA convention. And he hadn't, on the train, took off. He was a doctor, and he came back drunk. He had been hiding his drinking from his clients because as a doctor, he thought it would cause financial harm. This is written from the experience of that. If you know the history at all of AA, I mean, this is really a big deal. He says, telling them what we are trying to do, we make no bones about our drinking. They usually know it anyway, whether we think so or not. Well, Bob didn't think they knew, but they did.
Okay.
Everybody knew it, but he didn't know that they knew it. Okay. Then this idea, nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory it may cause financial harm. He was worried about losing his practice.
Right.
These were tough times.
Well, and then more of the times too, you were really frowned upon if you're an alcoholic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to that doctor. He's a drunk.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Yeah, and he was a proctologist. So how would you like to have him doing surgery on you?
Think of how archaic it was back then in the 30s and 40s. A colonoscopy.
Oh,
Ooh. Bet you it's not as enjoyable as it is nowadays.
No such thing, I don't think, back then.
No, probably not.
But that's why they wrote these sentences. They wrote this from their experience. And Bob, when he came back drunk, he'd been hiding making amends. He didn't want to make the amends. And when he came back drunk on that train, sobered up the next day, he went out and made his amends, went all over town and cleaned it all up because he was afraid he'd drink again. Just like that.
Didn't he
And he
have
found out everybody knew anyway.
He had surgery that morning, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is even worse. Shaking.
Right.
And I think
withdrawal.
Bill brought
to
him
give
there
him
and
some-
gave him some
Gave him
beer.
some pills. They gave him some
sips of beer.
drugs to stop.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, shaking and yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Approach it in this way. The most ruthless creditor will sometimes surprise us. Arranging the best deal
No.
arranging the best deal we let.
We can let these people know we are sorry.
Oh, mine says we. Okay. Arranging the best deal we can let these people know we are sorry. Our drinking has made us slow to pay.
Yeah, no kidding.
We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go. For we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna confirm mine. I don't know if that's a misprint or not.
Yeah.
Arranging the best deal we let these people know we are sorry.
You have that too?
We.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we.
Doesn't make any sense.
For we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them. What were you gonna say?
It's a misprint in those books. Huh?
The first time I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
That arranging, read that sentence. Arranging. Or are we're reading it wrong?
Arranging the best deal we can, arranging the best deal we can. It should be a comma. We let these people
that's
know we
right.
are sorry. Arranging the best deal we can. We let these people know we are sorry.
Right. There really should have been a comma in
There
there.
should have been a comma.
We can. You're right. Yeah. All right.
Now,
Okay.
this is a big deal around money, because I had a lot of crap around money. And one of my friends, I had worked on his house, and his name was Chuck. And Chuck and I went to school. He was a year older than I am, but I drank a lot with him in my teenage years and in my early 20s. And Chuck and I were good friends, And I was working on his house as a contractor. I was doing just general contracting. And I had his kitchen torn up. And I'd been working, and he owed me about, and it was kind of ripped up still, had countertops off. I mean, it was a lot of screwing around. And he had given me $700 for working, plus another $700 above
and beyond.
And I was also working on another job, which is a mistake when you start overbooking. You get in trouble in the trades doing that. And I got a thing of Formica in my eye, and I had to go to the hospital, and it was really, And I was so stressed at the time and in so much trouble. I had 2-3 jobs going, and I just didn't do any of them. I just stopped. I just couldn't function at all.
Just overwhelmed
Yep. And I never went back to Chuck's job, and I had his house torn up. And I never talked to him again. And I had $700 of his money. He paid me for $700 worth of work, but I had $700 of his money, and I just ghosted him, man. That was it. Years later, I got sober. I'd forgotten all about this. And I went back to see Chuck because I hadn't seen him, in years, and I'd forgotten all about this. And when I went over to his house, he was real cold toward me, and I didn't understand why. And he wasn't too thrilled that I was sober. I told him I'd sobered up, and I was about 6 months sober, and he was not too thrilled to see me. And I left there, and I thought, what the hell is this? And then I remembered what I did. And I called him up, and I said, Chuck, I understand what's going on now. I'd forgotten about what happened there. And I told him, I said, I'll straighten that out with you. I'm going to take care of that. And he said, well, if you want to fix some stuff over here, and we'll, you fix a couple faucets. I got a couple faucets down in the basement, a laundry tub and another one. And if you want to repair that stuff and take care of that, he said, we'll start doing it that way.
So he worked with you.
Yeah. So I went over there and I fixed a couple faucets, and he also had a motorcycle the same year and model as mine. It was a Honda VTX. And he had damaged his seat somehow. I don't know how it happened. Well, I just happened to have a seat for that motorcycle. It was one that I actually had it recovered in leather. But then I had bought a seat with a backrest on it, so I had it in my garage, and it cost me hundreds of dollars to get that thing done in leather, you know?
Yeah.
And it was nice, but I didn't have any use for it, so I gave him that seat. Now, there was no number on how much that was worth, or how much the work I did in his basement, and I fixed a couple other things in his house. There was no numbers getting put down as to what was happening. And finally I looked, and he said that he was going to remodel his bathroom later on, and then I could do that too. And I said, look, Chuck, I tell you what, there's no clarity on any of this. I said, I'm just going to pay you the money. So I didn't charge him anything for doing the work I had done, nor did I charge him for that seat. I just forgot about that. I left it off. I didn't forget about it. I just left it off because I felt I owed him. And then I decided I'll pay you $100 every couple weeks or something like that. And I paid off
that $700.
I paid off the whole $1,400.
Oh, you gave it all back.
I gave him all the money back, so he didn't lose anything in terms of financial. In fact, he gained, because I did do a lot of work.
Yeah, you did work and gave him a seat and gave him all his money.
And I gave him all the money back. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just telling you what I did.
Right.
Okay, because I felt I wanted to straighten it out. However, whatever that meant, and there was no sense my being paid for anything under those circumstances of what I did. I left them in the lurch on that deal, and it was not good.
I think that's a great example of what you're saying, based on what we were talking about 10 minutes ago, when, you go to them, hey, how much do I owe you? No, you knew inside what was going to make it right.
I could have just paid him the $700. No, but I felt that was not right. So I paid him the whole thing, gave him all the money back. And the last check that I sent to him, I sent a note with it, and I told him I regretted what I had done, and that I had finally made all the payments. You had paid me $700, and I had, or you had given me $1,400 on $700 that I worked, and I've just made the last payment. I paid you the whole $1,400 back. And I said I regretted what I did. I cared a lot about him as a friend. It was just pure addiction, and I think we're straight now. I said, you can keep the seat, all that stuff. I don't want anything. And our relationship changed.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
And he, we had been apart for long enough where it never went, real close again. But he was inviting me over to his house, and that was when Jesse Ventura was a governor, and he was over there because he knew Jesse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was going over for parties. These guys were drinking, so I wasn't.
Right.
But I was invited, and we'd ride motorcycles once in a while and stuff like that. And it was okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Wasn't too long after that, he did that bathroom, and he called me up to do the work.
Yeah.
And I charged him what I would normally charge to do a bathroom.
Yeah.
And he was fine with that. I did it by the hour with him, and I was straight.
Yeah.
So we got clean, and I just, instead of doing the bathroom to make up the difference of what I owed him, I just did it and got paid because I'd already paid it off, and we got straight. Wasn't too awfully long ago after that he was walking across his living room, and he just went down, had an aneurysm, and he died.
Oh.
Yowzers.
I am so grateful that I took care of that stuff before that happened. Now, that happened a few years later, but he wasn't that old, and there was no reason to think that might happen.
Right.
But I was lucky enough to straighten it out and clean up that mess before it was a nightmare. And I couldn't do it.
Look how things work.
Yeah.
You didn't go over there to initially make amends. You went to go see an old buddy. Hey,
Yeah, I'd
I'm
forgotten all about that. I put him in that position. It was years later when I got sober.
Huh.
But I saw what had happened. I had another situation with a guy who was my alcoholic sponsor. Dallas was his name. And he was 20 years older than I am. When I say alcoholic sponsor, I mean he taught me how to drink.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. He was an older guy. He was in the real estate business. I was buying and selling properties and refinancing them, and I was making some money at that. And he was selling them for me and that sort of thing. And we were drinking and always talking about the big things we were going to do.
Yeah.
Sitting in the bar talking about what great business deals we're going to do. And then him and I just respected him. He had a great personality for alcoholics. He was kind of exciting, 20 years older than I am. And it was fun to be around him. He was just a very happy-go-lucky, kind of an exciting guy, bright. And I learned a lot about real estate and stuff like that from him. Well, because we were buying and selling properties on contract for deeds.
Okay.
Because financing was so expensive back then.
Yeah.
So you had to find creative ways to do. And
To make a deal.
trading properties. I traded a property, but we did a bunch of stuff together and made them work, And then I was selling a house, and it was right about Mother's Day. He wanted to list the house on Mother's Day. I said, everybody's going to be out of town, man. It's opening fishing weekend, I mean, this is a long time ago. It's 30 years, 40 years ago, And he says, I says, people aren't going to be in town. At least the guys aren't going to be in town, and they'll be out fishing and that sort of thing. And besides, I was going to go up north fishing with some guys too. Well, I was supposed to drive, and a guy named Craig Quigley was going to go with me. Okay.
All right.
And we were driving up to his place up in Clear Lake, I think it was, or something like that. But anyway, the muffler fell off of my car on like Thursday. We're supposed to leave on Friday, and I couldn't drive because I couldn't get it fixed in time. Late at night, the night before. So I would have had to ride with the other guys, and I was going to ride up with them. Well, I was talking to Dallas. And I said, do you really want to list this? He says, why don't you stay in town? And we'll list it. We'll try it.
See what it goes.
So I said, okay, this is last minute.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Those guys got killed going up north in a car accident. I'd have been with them.
Right.
Dallas saved my life in a very real sense.
Yeah.
Because the decision was made by him, not by me. Just one of those things, There used to be a speaker called Norm Elpy out of California years ago. You get his stuff, it's great. Norm Elpy. He probably died 30 years ago.
Norm A.
Yeah. And he used to talk about seconds and inches, that life comes down to seconds and inches.
I think you referenced this before, and
that's true, man. I'm telling you, it came right down to the end. I was going to leave with these guys, and I didn't, and I would have been probably
dead,
wiped out in that one. So anyway, we listed it. He wrote on a napkin when we were drunk in the restaurant or in the bar that he was going to give me 10% of that commission. Well, he sold the house for like $56,000 or something. This is a duplex. That was a lot of money.
Right.
Then. Okay. And I never saw anything from him on it. He never gave me any percentage of it. He was going to give me 10%. So at one point, as time went by and I never saw that money, I needed to borrow some money. So I borrowed some money, $465, I think it was, from him. I don't remember what it was for and why it was even that number. And I said I'd give him the title to my car and I'd drop it off in front of his place so he'd have collateral.
Okay.
I gave him the title and everything. See, you couldn't even get tabs on a car back then without the title.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I started thinking, as I didn't want to have to pay him and I didn't have the money, I thought, well, that son of a bitch
owes you anyway.
He owes me money.
10% of that is yeah.
So I haven't figured it out what he owes me. I just think it's a lot
Right.
because that's what drunks do. They
Yep.
exaggerate things, And I think it's a lot. So I decide I'm just going to take my extra set of keys and go over and take that car back. So I went over and stole my car back. And I never talked to him after that for a long time. But he had the title.
The guy who saved your life.
Yeah. He had the title. And the tabs expired. And it got towed in.
Oh.
And I found out that you can go to the auction. Now they've changed the laws on this. It's a little different now. But back then, if you didn't pick the car up, they'd auction it off. See, and they'd retitle it. So I went over there, got into the auction. Actually, a guy did it for me who was a driver for them, a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
And he bought it for me. I got the car back and I got it retitled because
probably cheaper than what it would have been to get it out of the impound after that long
That's right.
sitting there.
Yeah. So I got the car back. I got a new title on it, and Dallas has been completely aced out of the picture. Lovely, huh? Years later, I run into him again. He's still drinking. He's in trouble with the booze a bit.
Yeah.
And he always was,
Yeah.
And I kind of make a connection with him, and I let's go to some AA meetings, man. I'm active in AA. I'm excited about it. So I go over to some meetings with him, take him to a meeting where it's business people in St. Paul. We went 2 or 3 times. And then we're on the 9th step. We just happen to be on the 9th step in this one meeting. And he rode over there with me. And I'm talking in the meeting, and I'm talking, who knows, I don't remember what I said. It's a long time ago. This is close to 35, 40 years ago, 35 years ago. But we left the meeting, and he's real cold toward me because I'm talking about making amends, and you got to do this. Well, I owe him money, and I'd forgotten. Here, I conveniently forget about this shit,
Well, yeah.
because years had passed. See,
I mean, and I don't know if it's called devil's advocate, but he owed you money too.
Well, that's the way you justify it. See?
You're right.
That's the way I justified what I
Yeah.
did. See, because he owed me money. And I dropped him off, and he was real cold. Again, I got that cold shoulder deal, and I knew something was up. And I drove away from there, and I thought, what the hell's going on? I thought, oh boy, I remember now the car deal. I owe him money. I never paid him. And I justified it by he owed me. So I called him up, and I said, Dallas, remember they talked about you talk about your side of the street.
Side of the street.
You don't deal with what they did.
Yep.
Okay. So I called him up, and I said, I think I understand what's going on. And I have come to some realization. I forgot all about this, and I owe you money. And I said, I'm going to pay you. And he said, okay. So I would pick him up on Saturdays. Every Saturday, I would pick him up. I would take him. Now, I'd give him $25 every Saturday. And I'd take him out to breakfast, and I'd pay it for his breakfast on top of the money I gave him. And I did that every Saturday until I got that money paid.
That's $150 a month at least.
Well, I paid him, some breakfasts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, and when I got it all paid up, we were clear. I never talked to him about what he owed me, other than I said to him at one point, I've paid it all up. I told him, I says, the reason I did the way I justified this was I justified it by that napkin when you wrote that 10% on the napkin. And that's how I justified stealing from you like that. And I regret that I did it. I cared about him, but that's what I did. I told him what it was, and I didn't mention anything else about it after that. And I figured if he wants to deal with that, he'll deal with it.
Right.
That's not my thing.
Yep.
And he never did. He never did. But I did figure out, how you keep this stuff kind of hidden in your mind.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what the numbers are. I figured it out. And, he sold the house, but somebody else he was the lister, but somebody else sold it. So he only got half of the commission on the thing. And then I was only going to get 10% of whatever
Of
percentage
his,
he got.
yeah.
And when I figured it out, it wasn't shit. It was about $100 or
Mhm.
somewhere. I don't know what it was. I didn't figure it out again. And I thought, boy, isn't that something how you can bullshit yourself into believing that it was some huge amount of money that he owed me, and it wasn't hardly anything.
Looking back in my life, that's the story of it. I mean, really, I think about the big things that
Yeah.
it's all been something I've created or justified or
You always justify
always
the
always,
shitty thing you do.
always.
Because if you didn't, you'd be a sociopath.
Yep. Yeah.
You have to justify what you do if it's going to cause a problem for somebody you actually like.
Yeah.
So you have to make them the enemy somehow. And that's exactly what I did.
You're right. And if you don't, you're socio. Yeah.
Then you have
yeah.
no feelings
Yeah.
or concern or anything about it. So, but that was an important thing. And then when he was dying and his daughter called me up, and I didn't know her real well, but I knew her a little bit. And she was a few years younger than me, but she was a close friend of one of my close buddies' sister. And she told me what was going on. He was in hospice, and I went over there and I spent time. I went over until he died. And I sat there now. And then at one point he looks up at me and he shakes my hand, and he died after that. It's interesting. My brother did the same thing.
Shook your hand.
He shook my
Said
hand.
that.
Same with Randy when he died. Pat, it was if they shake your hand, they're done.
Wait,
That's
who was
Rick's
it?
experience.
Huh?
The other person that I met,
My
Which-
brother?
no, that shot in the ceiling.
Oh, Pat?
No, he just recently died.
Rick said, if someone's on their deathbed, don't shake their hand.
Right.
Well, why? It's
They're
just
saying
you
their
know when
goodbyes.
They're done, and they know they're done. Apparently, he knew he wasn't going to see me again, and we were good. It was a nice, warm handshake, and I knew it was over.
I guess we won't know till we're in that spot.
Right.
I don't want to know anytime soon.
So.
Mhm.
So anyway, but I was able to clean up that
Right.
stuff, and it didn't matter what he did at that point. That was irrelevant.
You're right. My head, I've done that. I've just, while you're sharing about this, my head goes back thinking, I've always made some justification of why I did the shitty thing I had done.
You have to. You have to do that, or you'd be
Yeah, right.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, because I think about the ones I do know or I've seen that have I surrounded myself with some really bad people in my life, and there's been some that they knew they're doing shit and they're quite all right with it.
You surrounded yourself with some really bad people. I remember a probation officer was saying to my dad, "You know that guy John Bertrand that that Rick's hanging around with? He's a bad influence." My dad looked at him and said, "Rick's the bad
Right.
influence."
No, it's Rick.
So
Thanks,
you
Dad.
reminded me when you were saying that. I hung around with some really bad people. Yeah, right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So anyway, that's the money thing, you know. And I've had other ones too, but we got to move on here, you know.
We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go, for we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them.
You know, one thing around money, I remember I didn't buy anything of any major cost until I was about 10, 11 years sober, and I bought a house. Finally bought a house, and it was only because my kids, I knew they were boys, and they were getting to be 13, 12 years, 14 years old, and I knew one of them had to come and live with me because he couldn't get on with his mother.
It was, you saw
and I
it.
wanted to get a place over in the neighborhood where he lived, and you know,
School and
not-
all. Yeah.
for everything to be not put him in a bad position.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what I was
Money.
trying to think of what the hell it was. My point of all that was.
You never made any major purchases?
God, I don't remember what it was. It just went out of my mind.
Well,
Oh, I
she
know what
read.
it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I go to buy this house.
All you
Come
can
on.
do is talk,
Yeah.
and then he'll get.
I go to buy this house. And there's on my credit report, there's I think it was a refrigerator air conditioner that I bought from Montgomery wards, if you
Oh, I
can
remember
imagine
you
how
telling
long
me.
ago that
Montgomery
was.
wards.
I love that
Montgomery
place.
ward. So this is a lot of years ago. And I never paid it, and they had a judgment on my record for it,
On your credit
on
report.
my credit report. Now, I think about that. Had I known that was there, would I have paid it? The reason I knew I had to pay it was because it was affecting whether or not I could buy the house. Would I have paid it had I not had that? You know, this is a good question to ask yourself, you know?
Well, at that point in your life, you probably would have, right?
I don't know. I can tell you it was easy to pay that under the circumstances because I was getting something out of it.
Mm.
What if you're not getting something? What if you're not?
Isn't that integrity thing? Like, what am
Well,
I
of
doing
course
when no
it
one's
is.
looking?
But
Right.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm telling you, under the circumstance, I didn't know it was on there. If I would have found it, would I have done it anyway?
Yeah.
Well, I can't answer that
Yeah.
because
That
it
wasn't
isn't the
it
circumstance.
wasn't the case.
But I did question myself. Would I have done? I mean, it's a worthwhile.
It's a valid, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that's worth looking at, you know. So it's easy when you're getting something out of it to take care of something that you should take care of anyway. That was an easy one. Paid that off like nothing. No.
He had money.
Like
then.
you said, well, and you're getting some out of it.
Yeah, would I have done it anyway? And if I'd have found out it was on, because it probably would have dropped off after another year or two, you know.
Enlightening.
Well,
Well, I guess, and then
I'm just telling you what it is.
Right,
you know,
right.
But it's not. It's just a way of examining
Self.
where are you at?
Yeah.
What are you willing to do here?
well, and that's why I said a lot. Like, we don't get to sit and pat ourselves on the back for every little thing we do. But if you weren't in recovery or at that point in life, would you have even examined self about something like this?
Well, I wouldn't have been buying a house in the
No.
first place. you know.
Mm.
Right.
So it's things like that that I've looked at as they've come up. So
Side note, first colonoscopy was 1969 by an Indian fella.
Nice.
First modern colonoscopy.
well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and just
With the camera and
yeah.
Yeah.
Because weren't we talking about a proctologist?
yeah.
I felt that was a good time to interrupt with
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Fun facts on the attitude for gratitude first.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh,
Now we got here. We're gonna get into
I like
another one.
this story. Excuse me. Perhaps we have committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail if we were known to the authorities.
If it were known.
If it were known to the authorities. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we are sure we would be imprisoned or lose our jobs if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Maybe we are divorced and have remarried but haven't kept up the alimony to number one. She is indignant about it and has a warrant out for our arrest. That's a common form of trouble too.
See, these guys were just like us. You know, they had the same kind of stuff going on. And believe me, that to get divorced back then in the 30s,
That
was
was-
a major deal,
yeah.
man, you know. And to cause a ruckus like that and destroy your family. I mean,
split
that
up a
was,
family. Yeah.
this was really big stuff for them because these people,
The whole
made-
neighborhood knew and you're looked down upon.
well, they made marriage vows and they were serious about them. And
Yeah.
these were small towns too. So people knew each other, you know.
Mhm.
So this was tough stuff.
Although these reparations take innumerable forms, there are some general principles which we find guiding. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any length to find a spiritual experience, we ask that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. Whoa, that's integrity. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything.
Now think about what he said. He said up above there, he says, reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. Now he didn't say to not drink, but
No.
yet that was what they felt was keeping them from the compulsion to drink, was a relationship with a power greater than themselves. So this is a big deal. And you might kind of reject that and say, well, that's no big deal. I don't give a shit about having a spiritual experience or anything like that anyway,
But it's
But
a spiritual malady we have.
But this was a big deal because they would drink if they didn't have a relationship with God. This is where these guys were at with the booze. So this is a big deal. It's not, well, who cares if you have a spiritual experience? Well, this was not the way it was with this one.
Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we are not to be the hasty and foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit.
Think about that. Sacrifice others to save himself.
I've been there.
A man we know had remarried. Because of resentment and drinking, he had not paid alimony to his first wife. She was furious. She went to the court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life and secured a position and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am."
Think about how this looks, because now these guys, this is in the 30s when there really wasn't much of a workforce for women. And this was understood. And now you're getting divorced and they got kids and that sort of thing. So the alimony was to help raise the family.
Right.
And it may have been a significant amount of money, and these guys didn't have much money, because they're trying to get on their feet after being drunk for years. So it's interesting how he put this. She went to court and got an order for his arrest. Well, that was a big deal because he had no income, He had commenced our way of life, had secured a position, and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am."
Here I am.
But think about what this would mean if he did that,
We thought.
Go ahead.
Okay. We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary. But if he were in jail, he would provide nothing for.
He could provide nothing.
But if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
We suggested he write his first wife admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did, and also sent a small amount of money.
Now think about that. He didn't just do that. He sent some money. There's the demonstration that you're serious. You're not just go, I'll pay you. Just don't send me to jail.
Not empty words at that point.
No, it's all bullshit until you do.
Yep. Action.
He did, and also sent a small amount of money. That's the big difference there.
He told her what he would try to do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course, she did not, and the whole situation has long since been adjusted.
Isn't that something?
That's nice.
Worked out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was willing to demonstrate.
I like how you said before, I like this story coming up.
Before taking drastic action which might implicate other people, we secure their consent. If we have obtained permission, have consulted with others, ask God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not shrink. This brings to mind a story about one of our friends. While drinking, he accepted a sum of money from a bitterly hated business rival, giving him no receipt for it. He subsequently denied having received the money and used the incident as a basis for discrediting the man. He thus used his own wrongdoing as a means of destroying the reputation of another. In fact, his rival was ruined.
Boy, think about what this guy did,
crazy.
man, while drinking. Yeah. He accepts some money from somebody, and he doesn't like the guy. It's a bitterly hated business rival. Didn't give him a receipt, and then used the situation as if he didn't get the money,
You go out there
and ruined the guy's ruined the
Ruined
guy's
his name, yeah.
reputation, you know, in a small community. Holy shit.
Mhm.
How'd you like to have that one on your shoulders, huh?
He felt that he had done a wrong he could not possibly make right. If he opened that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy the reputation of his partner,
So he's in business again. So he's got another
Mhm.
business partner.
disgrace his family, and take away his means of livelihood.
That's true. It would.
It's all valid.
What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating his rival?
Well, that's a tough one, isn't it? When you think about what he did. And that's a small community.
After consulting with his wife and partner, he came to the conclusion that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his creator guilty of such ruinous slander.
Ruinous.
Ruinous slander.
Yeah. But he talked to his partner and his wife. He didn't just do this without consulting with others because they were involved.
Right.
They were going to get hurt
It
by
would
it.
affect them too,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
or potentially could.
Yeah. He saw that he had to place the outcome in God's hands, or he would soon start drinking again, and all would be lost anyhow. He attended church for the first time in many years. After the sermon, he quietly got up and made an explanation. His action met widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens of his town. This has happened years ago.
This all happened years ago. Think about that. So that's why I said it's a small community
Mhm,
because
they go
there's
to
probably
church.
one church in the town, you know.
4 bars.
Yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of bars, but
That's what it is.
but there's one church apparently, and it was enough to where all the communities.
Everyone's
there.
gonna know.
Everybody's right there, you know. And he gets up and does that. Wow.
The chances are that we have domestic troubles.
No.
I know, right? Shocker. Perhaps we are mixed up with women in a fashion we couldn't care to.
Wouldn't care.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Perhaps we are mixed up with women in a fashion we wouldn't care to have advertised. We doubt if, in this respect, alcoholics are fundamentally much worse than other people. But drinking does complicate sex relations in the home. After a few years with an alcoholic, a wife gets worn out, resentful, and uncommunicative. How could she be anything else?
Right.
The husband begins to feel lonely, sorry for himself.
Mhm.
He commences to look around in the nightclubs or their equivalent for something besides liquor.
Yeah. Or the AA meetings.
Yeah.
Perhaps he is having a secret and exciting affair with the girl who understands. In fairness, we must say that she may understand, but what are we going to do about a thing like that? A man so involved often feels very remorseful at times, especially if he is married to a loyal and courageous woman who has literally gone through hell for him.
Yeah. Think about that. You know, the wife has gone through all this and he's screwing around, you know?
Whatever the situation, we usually have to do something about it. If we are sure our wife does not know, should we tell her?
Oh, now listen to this one. This is an interesting,
Get
because
it?
people
Yeah.
will say, oh, you got to be honest, you know, you got to be rigorously honest. And
Yeah.
listen to this.
Not always, we think.
Uh-oh. Really? Not always, we think.
If she knows in a general way that we have been wild, should we tell her in detail? Undoubtedly, we should admit our fault. She may insist on knowing all the particulars. She will want to know who the woman is and where she is. We feel we ought to say to her that we have no right to involve another person.
Unfortunately, you already have.
Yeah.
but-
We are sorry for what we have done, God willing. It shall
Wait
not.
a minute. Try that again.
We are sorry for what we have done, and God willing, it should not be repeated.
That's the silliest sentence Bill ever wrote.
Yeah.
Like, God willing, it might be repeated.
More than that, we cannot do. We have no right to go further. Though there may be justifiable exceptions. And though we wish to lay down no rule of any sort, we have often found this is the best course to take.
So why are they saying this? That if we are sure our wife does not know, should we tell her? Not always, we think. Maybe, but not always. Why? Because they were more interested in keeping families together
yeah.
than blowing it up all in the name of, oh, I got to be rigorously honest. No matter who gets here, their butt kicked on it. You know, I just got to tell her all of a sudden now I got to be rigorously honest with others. But the truth is, you got to be rigorously honest with yourself. It doesn't say with everybody else.
Right.
So this is an interesting thing because literally you'd cause more harm probably. Now I know this from a situation where I went through treatment with a guy, and Don was a pretty decent guy. He was kind of he was a crack guy, you know, or I don't know if he was
Top tier.
retesting or whatever, but he had, you know, the gold chain on his neck, and he had a business, and he was a real estate appraiser. And I went through treatment with him, and I liked Don, you know, he ended up being the president of the alumni at the treatment center. And we used to put on parties and things like that for 200-300 people because the treatment center would give us some money to do that sort of thing. So it was a real strong alumni. Don was married, had a couple of kids. They were like 1 and 2 years old. Him and his wife were having a lot of trouble because nobody comes into AA too soon, or treatment, you know. And now we're about 3 or 4 months sober, and Don has got a lot of problems with his wife. And I knew his wife because I got to meet her. We became friends. I was going to Al-Anon, and I was talking to her about Al-Anon.
Yep.
And their relationship was so tenuous that who knew which way it was going
Right.
to go. But they were trying to keep it together with the kids and keep the family together. And I'd read the chapter in the big book, chapter 9, on the family afterwards.
Yep.
These are important things to understand. So I'm reading, I'm trying to do some inventory myself, and I'm having some experiences. And Don starts screwing around with some woman at the treatment center. And
you know about it?
I found out about it. And he kept doing it, and he's coming apart because he's doing this. And he says to me one day, he says, I can't stand to even go home. I feel so guilty. Well, of course he does, because he is guilty, you know. And when he goes home, his wife is literally a symbol of his guilt.
Right.
Because of what he's doing. So he hates to be around her. He can't stand to be around her.
Not her fault, but
it's not her fault. No. It's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's telling me this. And I said, Don, why don't you quit doing it?
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to, because he wants to have it both ways. He wants to have that
his cake and eat it too.
And have his family, see? But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's getting worse as the weeks are going, days or weeks. And he said, I got to tell her. I said, Don, I know your wife. We're friends. I talked to her about Al-Anon. That wasn't hidden, you know. I said, don't do that. It's going to blow up in your face. You cannot win at this, man. So a few days go by, a week or something. He said, I got to tell her. I said, oh boy, I knew this was going to be a problem. So he goes back and he tells his wife what he was doing, that he was screwing around with this other gal. She lost it. Now, I get some information from both sides on this.
She's already,
I can speak about this fairly clearly.
Mm-hmm.
She goes crazy and throws him out. That was a capper. That was it. He lost his family. He lost his kids. He lost his wife. She lost the house because she couldn't keep it, okay, without his income. He started to drink, which led him back to the crack.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared, and he's on running again. And everybody got their butt kicked over what? Over what? Because he said, I got to tell her. I got to be rigorously honest. You can't get well at the expense of hurting someone else. He really thought, and I know this because I was there with him, because we were really pretty close.
You believe he was thinking if he came clean, it was going to get better?
If he came clean, that it would get rid of his guilt. Okay.
Self-sabotage.
He
self-sabotaged himself.
Well, yeah, but he thought that he could
Yeah.
just tell her she'd get hurt, but he wouldn't feel the guilt. That isn't the way it works.
That was a
It
spiral
increased
down.
his guilt.
Yeah.
It didn't get rid of the guilt to do it. It actually doubled it up. Okay. And that's why he started drinking. He couldn't handle it.
Look at
And
the
it was
bigger
too much.
picture. She's already dealing with this bullshit from him. Now she's trying to work on self with
She was a
Al-Anon.
pretty good
and-
lady too.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
tell
it
you,
sounds like she went above and beyond to try to make things happen. And then he lays that on her.
when I read these sentences in here, a man so involved often feels very remorseful at times, especially if he is married to a loyal and courageous girl
Yeah.
who has literally gone through hell for him.
Yeah, because then you can't
And
justify
she
it.
did,
Yeah,
man. She had literally gone through hell for him.
yeah.
And she was staying with him, and they were trying, and it was just sad, you know. And I watched that whole thing
From both
play out.
sides too. Ooh,
I heard both sides of it. And it really gave me, it impacted me.
perspective,
It was
I bet.
helpful for me to see that. It was a terrible situation, you know, because everybody lost. The kids
Yeah.
lost their dad. And it was years later, probably maybe 5-10 years later, I happened to run into him at a meeting. And I tried to grab him because I hadn't seen him for a while. And I thought maybe I can get him back in and
Right.
we'll just hang out. Because I knew he'd lost his kids and everything. And I couldn't get him. I tried to talk to him and I couldn't. And when I call him, he wouldn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
It was just bad, you know? So I let it go. I just left it go.
Yeah.
And a few years later, probably maybe 5 years later, I was at a restaurant and there was a guy in the restaurant who happened to go through treatment with us. And I said, you know what happened to Don? Because I wanted to find him if I could find him.
Yeah.
He said, no, but I did read something in the paper about him. And apparently, I don't know what the charge was, but he was going to jail for some crooked crap that he was doing.
Just a nasty spiral
Can
downwards
all that happen
from him not.
from one stupid decision?
That was a spiral effect. That was a pivoting point.
I watched it happen, man. I thought, holy shit.
This is where
Everything,
my ego
man.
would have been like, I told him if he'd have just listened to me.
Oh, God, it was terrible, man. So when I read these sentences, I've got a real relationship with what they're talking about here, you know. I sponsored a guy out of Stillwater Prison. He came out. We were doing a 5th step. We did the 4th step. He did it. You know, I showed him how to do it. Stayed out of the middle of that. And he was telling me in a 5th step that he was screwing around with his wife's sister when he was using. And in the 5th step, he says, I don't know what to do with that. Should I tell her? Now, they're not together anymore. Now, he told me that she didn't know about it. Obviously, the sister knew because he was with her.
Right.
But he said she didn't know about it. So his concern was, should I make an amend to her?
No.
Well, I didn't say no. First of all, I didn't know if he was telling me the truth that she didn't know about it. Okay. I didn't know. Maybe she
No,
did
I get
know.
it. I guess I hearing the little bit of fact that if she doesn't know about it and you guys aren't together, what good's it good? What's it gonna do unless you're really is that
But
the selfish part of
maybe
cleaning up?
He was telling me that so that he could get me to co-sign not doing it. But I'm not that stupid.
Yeah,
See?
he's been around the block a few times. He knows.
I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't do that. I didn't tell him he should or shouldn't do it. We talked a little bit about it. He tells me she didn't know. Let's assume she didn't know.
Okay.
So then, let's say he goes back and makes this amend to his wife, tells her he was screwing around with her sister.
Oh.
Now, you're just causing damage between her sister and her if her sister hadn't told her and they hadn't talked about that and knew about it.
Yeah.
So now you're causing pain.
Yep.
Again, you're causing more hurt by doing it. Well, I didn't tell him to not do it, and I didn't even talk to him about that. we read through the book, but he didn't do it. Right or wrong, I don't know the particulars. I just know what he told me. So he didn't. Was it right? I don't know. So should he tell her if she doesn't know? Not always, we think.
We made a direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others.
That's right. That's right.
Except when to do. I guess someone comes to me with that. I just repeat that a few times.
You can't get well. You
Off
can't
of stuff,
relieve
yeah.
your guilt at the expense
Yeah.
of hurting someone. It will increase your guilt. It won't make you feel better.
Right.
You'll double it up.
Yeah. Yowzers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not.
I do. You know what? I'm going to say that one more time. Made a direct amends to such people whenever possible, wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others.
Big deal.
Yes. Hello, Jess.
Our design for living is not a one-way street. It is as good for the wife as it is for the husband. If we can forget, so can she. It is better, however, that one does not needlessly name a person upon whom she can vent jealousy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Perhaps there are some cases where the utmost frankness is demanded.
Yeah. See, every situation's different.
Right.
No outsider can appraise such an intimate situation.
How could I appraise such an intimate situation? Only through arrogance could I do that.
Over here playing God.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Arrogance.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
outsider.
I think a big part of that too, and I always forget this, and you just mentioned, is like, I'm hearing that story from him.
Yeah.
How do I know the validity of what he's telling me? And how do I know he even knows the validity of what he's telling me?
That's why you can't
Yeah, I can't
give anybody advice.
Yes. That's not our jobs.
Well, you just can't do it. It's just arrogance to think you can.
I love it. Hey, you
What?
guys hearing this out there? It's just arrogance to think we can.
A lot of people are very arrogant around the fellowship who think they can do this.
But you, I think, have, and you used to share about this a little more, or I think it was just the topics, but being around the room so much, you've seen a lot of this change where when you worded it a couple
Where
years
people
ago,
are doing that.
yeah, you're seeing the sponsor-sponsee relationship
Yeah.
has turned into this thing of the idea is the sponsor is here to tell the sponsee what they should be doing or giving them direction and this and that on how to do things.
I
But
know.
Instead of the spiritual experience, your sponsor told.
that's
None
not
of the guys, the old timers I knew would get involved like that. They just didn't do it.
yeah. Trying to fix something that's not broke or change something that doesn't need changing.
Let's-
Changing something that's worked. Why? Why do we need to change a damn word in here?
Well, because people get sober, they think they know something. They
Mhm.
think they're all of a sudden they're an authority on relationships. I got this woman at my Al-Anon meeting who used to call me up all the time. She having trouble with her husband, and I'd say to her, look, I'd listen to her, and then I'd say, I don't know what you should do. I ruined all my relationships.
Right.
Why would you want my advice?
I'm the last one you should
I
go
was
to.
serious about that. I don't have. So what she thought she'd call me. I don't hear from her anymore, but every once in a while I'll hear from her. But I see her at the meeting. But she doesn't call me. I don't have answers.
I like that though. The arrogance. What
is
kind of
arrogant.
arrogance do I have? Be over trying to tell you what's right for you.
But
No.
Rick said before that people would call him for advice and he wouldn't give them any advice and they quit calling.
Well,
I used to get calls all the time. I don't get calls. from
my
guys
sponsors
anymore.
go. He's like, "Did you take it to God, Tim?" I used to all the time call him, dude. Just what would you do if you're in my situation? I tried to word it so he'd give me
Yeah.
something because I just felt anything I'm going to do is going to. I made the poor choice for my whole life. I don't know what the right choice is. Tell me what to do. Talk to God about it.
Mhm.
It pissed me off. It would piss me off.
Well, they've given you some very, in a sense, they're giving you experiences from their own lives. But this no outsider can appraise such an intimate situation is just so accurate. Some of these sentences are so brilliant.
Perhaps there are some cases where the utmost Wait, did I already
It
read
may
that?
be that both will decide.
It may be that both will decide that the way of good sense and loving kindness is to let bygones be bygones. Each night, pray about it, having the other one's happiness upmost in mind.
Having the other one's happiness uppermost. Not
Uppermost.
your happiness,
Theirs.
theirs.
Keep it always in sight that we are dealing with that most terrible human emotion, jealousy. Yeah.
Ugh.
Good generalship may decide that the problem be attacked on the flank rather than risk a face-to-face combat.
Yeah, because
understand
people
that.
are very jealous.
Yes. I've had it. I know what that feeling is.
If we have no such complication, there is plenty we should do at home. Sometimes we hear an alcoholic say that the only thing he needs to do is to keep sober.
Well, you used to hear that all the time.
All you need to do is stay sober. Mm.
Certainly he must keep sober, but there will be no
For
home.
there will be no home if he
Sorry.
doesn't.
Certainly he must keep sober, for there will be no home if he doesn't. But he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or parents whom for years he has so shockingly treated.
No kidding.
Passing all understanding is the patient mothers and wives have had with alcoholics. Had this not been so, many of us would have no homes today, would perhaps be dead.
That's right.
Oh.
Here's my favorite line in the whole
I like
book.
this too.
My sponsor's dad, because in early recovery, I had a sibling who was still just ripping and running. And I cried to my sponsor's dad about it, who long time program. And he would always say, Tim, it's an active user. It's like a tornado ripping. It's like a hurricane ripping through your family. And then we got to this. I'm like, hey,
It's
he
right
didn't make
there.
that up. It came
It's
from.
right there.
Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's great.
Now listen up, everybody.
The alcoholic is like a tornado roaring his way through the lives of others. Hearts are broken, sweet relationships are dead. Affections have been uprooted. Selfish and inconsiderate habits have kept the home in turmoil.
Mm.
We feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough. He is like the farmer who came up out of the cyclone cellar to find his home ruined. To the wife, he remarked, "Don't see anything the matter here, Ma. Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing?"
Can you imagine you come out of the treatment center, you go back to your families, everybody's pissed off because of what you've been doing.
But look
for
at me.
years.
I'm done drinking.
Yeah. Aren't you happy to see me? Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing?
Yeah.
Oh boy, talk about offensive, man. There's a
Yeah,
guy-
that is a slap in the face.
Oh.
That's a slap in the
That's
face.
what I thought when I got out of treatment, that everyone was going to be super
I-
happy.
yeah.
And it was remove the alcohol. And
I do give my, you know what? There's a guy named Bob Bauer, and he was a counselor at Fairview Riverside for 20, 30, when it was St. Mary's, I even think.
Oh, we
And
won't hold that against you.
yeah, he was a court reporter too at Anoka County. Whatever the case is, I do feel for he was really vocal about that with us. He was the first guy in my life that didn't co-sign my shit and reminded me how terminally unique I'm not. But he was one of them guys. He's just an old drunk, and he was the counselor there, but he made it real clear that my family owes me nothing because I stopped doing heroin and I'm going to be that. Your family, you're the one who was fucking up, Tim. You don't get a pat on the back for choosing not to do the wrong thing anymore.
yeah.
Yes, I understand what he's saying, but there are difficult families too.
No, that I
And
understand.
they talk about that in the family. afterwards.
You're right.
So
That
you
wasn't.
can't just say the whole thing is your fault or whatever.
No.
That's
In my case, because I do know, without going into long stories, I talk about that. You'll hear about the way they were raised, and a blanket statement, but there's some people out here, their childhood and the foster care and the abuse and the rape and I'd say, yeah, you're probably going to end up in recovery.
well, in your
but-
case, I can understand that it's probably
But
accurate.
my case, two loving parents. I never saw abuse. I didn't see parents getting drunk. I had apple pie. I had a great childhood. I was raised right from wrong. I'm the one who chose these. I'm not I don't want to say the normal, because anyone shows up in these rooms. But if you hear about the way I was raised, you wouldn't think, oh, he's going to end up a heroin junkie. One of them deals. So when he was talking about shit like that, I knew it could apply to me, but I do know other people. I keep wanting to break anonymity, but no, there are very difficult families that are sick, people that come from families where their parents are alcoholics and addicts and junkies and whatever. So to come out and that still doesn't mean, all right, you get a pat on the back for setting down the booze, but I felt a little defensive of my counselor that you said, well, wait, I'm joking. I needed Bob in my life when that happened. That was the best thing that could have happened to me, to have this guy. And in my 30 days, I saw 5-6 guys walk out. This old prick, because he's just one of them old drunk AA guys, and he wasn't. He was by the book.
Well, you're going to hear in the next paragraph why I said what I said.
Come on.
Yes, there is a long period. Yes, comma. There is a long period of reconstruction ahead. We must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all.
Okay, it doesn't mean you don't acknowledge it, you don't say it. It just means it's not complete.
Right.
We ought to sit down with the family and frankly analyze the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticize them. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that their own actions,
our own.
oops, their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible.
Doesn't say totally responsible, does it?
Partly.
No. And that sentence, I remember, kind of bothered me at first, because I wanted to look at it. Oh, I'm so bad. I did so, I ruined the family. Oh, poor, look at what
Right.
Look, there are difficult people. There's no question, It's not just one-sided here, But nevertheless, we're looking at ourselves. We're not looking at other people.
No, we're looking at self.
But it's great the way he does. And he's giving you instructions here. We ought to sit down with the family. Yeah, sit down with them and talk to them. And frankly analyze the past as we now see it. Yeah, because you had a change in how you view things through inventory. Being very careful not to criticize them. I can assure you, their defects may be glaring. Pam's defects were glaring. There was no question. She was a pain beyond belief, Pam. But the chances are that our own actions were partly responsible. I wasn't totally responsible for every problem in that situation with her. But I did see through inventory that I wouldn't have spent a month with her if she was doing to me what I did to her for 11
you've said
years.
that before.
But she stayed. I gotta
Right.
tell you, she stayed in there too, and that's her responsibility too. And I can't, you got to understand there are kids involved too. This is
There's
tough stuff.
yeah.
So, but it's not, you're totally responsible for everything. You're not the worst guy in the world.
So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindness, and love.
Kindliness.
Oh, kindliness and love. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's the idea, is to have some compassion for what you've gone through together,
The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them.
So you start going back and you're talking about spiritual things all the time. You're just a big jerk now.
Mm-hmm.
We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone.
Yeah.
There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases. But we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. Scraping, sorry. As God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone.
Yeah, so you don't go back and just, oh, I'll do anything and I'll do whatever you say. No, man. You just get honest with yourself, and it's a big deal.
If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. This is the promises.
Yep.
We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in ourselves. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Work.
So these promises, if you think about them, I noticed when I would go out to Stillwater Prison and put a meeting on, I'd go out with a couple other guys and we'd be talking about football or hunting or some damn thing on the way out. And the conversation would be very materialistic, and on the way back it was a different conversation because we'd had an experience. Okay. It altered us to do it.
Right.
And I noticed that things like these promises were all coming true basically just by going out and doing that meeting. Like, we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. I would feel quite
Happy.
Charged up.
Well, didn't you also used to share about this quite a bit? Early recovery, service work got you out of your depression.
Yeah. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Why? Because you're going into a prison, and if you can share your experience from your past of what happened and what you're like now, you can be helpful to them. So we won't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. I feel that when I'm coming back. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. When you're sitting in a prison, the farther down the scale you've gone, like I have, they can relate to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That we'll see no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. I saw that just doing that. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity would disappear. I didn't feel useless at that moment.
No.
I didn't have any self-pity. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. That was happening. Self-seeking will slip away, right? Because it doesn't work. It helps to be helpful.
Right.
Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. I feel that when I'm coming back. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. Yeah, I don't feel afraid or different from those people. We will intuitively know how to handle situations we used to baffle us. That's the first promise that came true for me. I was able to intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. We will suddenly realize, and here's the other one, that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. That's what I saw. That somebody was helping me. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put a name to it. I just knew that something was helping me because problems were being solved in ways I never could have imagined the solution coming from.
That happened with me. I've had an experience with every part of those promises. You?
Yeah, I had it like, I was just thinking when I was at work one time, everyone either quit or one of the ladies, they were on maternity leave, and we were in this major trial, and I was the only staff person, and my boss was, I had to be on top of it and stuff like that. And I know from before I would have went into a situation thinking about there's no way I could get this done. And I already called it that,
You already had
like, it's not going to work.
head. Yep.
And I just prayed about it. And I was sitting at the Xerox, and everything, I could find everything. It was like, he needed something for the trial, and it was a transcript. I easily found everything. And I'm like, wow. And at the end, he goes, maybe we don't need to get anyone else. I'm like, well, that's not, but it was some that would have thrown my whole day being pulled apart like that. And yeah.
I think that it was earlier recovery, but coming off the needle, I hate talking about it that way, but doing that for so long, it turned, for quite a few years, I was enjoying opiates. I enjoyed them. There's a reason, and I was okay with it. The pain, the same story, injury, pain pills, tar heroin, powder heroin, shooting heroin, like it's the same story you hear everywhere. And it turned into that. For a while, I was okay. I didn't care. This is what I am. This is what I do. And I need it every day. Every day, I need this. This is part of my life, Tim's life. And I get into recovery. I did the treatment, and then maybe the second month, third month, I heard someone sharing. Someone said, yeah, I only got 2 weeks or something. And someone blew up on him. Don't you ever fucking say only. They gave him the whole speech about how every day matters. It's a big deal. And something clicked to me. Is like, I was telling myself, there's absolutely no way I can't go a day without an opiate fix. And I'd said that to myself for years, at least 2 years. And it clicked. I'm like, wow, I've, at this maybe 4 or 5 months without putting opiates in my body. I was like, I didn't do this.
Well, it's just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and whatever the case, I realized there was something else doing this, and it wasn't me. And that was the first time I realized part of that promise. One of the, realized something else. Yeah. I've had an experience with every aspect of these promises, and promises that aren't on there. And I'm sure it's in there. This thing about someone called me, I guess situations that baffled me. Someone called me to confide into me that they're dying. What the hell? Me? This guy's got friends for 40, 50 years, been in the rooms. I've known him 2 years, and I'm the one you chose before your wife, your family. And I don't praise situations like that because it was difficult, emotional, and I didn't know what to do, but I got to be there for another person. That's a promise. I say, okay, they don't talk about that type of promise, but it's something that would have baffled the shit out of me before. I wouldn't understand. Me?
What's what she was talking? It was baffling to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized, like, I'm clear thinking, and I'm not in my head being fearful. Like,
and is
I
that the
can't do it.
lie? Is it
Yeah.
we tell ourselves for so long that that's something that's not an option? We can't. That's the lie.
And it was a moment where I'm like, I want to have that again. And I mean, then I get into myself, and things get overwhelming, and that's all, I'm scattered and crazy again.
That's because you're into yourself.
It is.
Self.
Because I go in there with
Self-reliance fails you.
when things like that happen, my first instinct is to go in there like, this is too much. It's
Right.
overwhelming. Like, I can't do it. It's
Self-sabotage,
just no one in
panic.
their right mind can do all these things at once. And then I can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Stillwater, 2029. Done.
Yeah.
Is it?
I didn't know that.
what does
Paul
that
just
mean?
told me last
It's
week.
closing?
Yeah, for good. Paul told me
Oh.
or earlier in this week, he's like, I'm going to speak at Stillwater. And I got it confused because we do Lionel. I'm like, wait, Stillwater? What the hell are you going way out there for? I'm talking to him, alumni, whatever. And he's like, I guess they're closing. So
I did Stillwater for 20 years.
yeah, I didn't, well, whatever. I looked it up, and they're closing it in sections. And he said, like, now they get 2 cells. And he's like, they got it made there now. They're loving it because they've already closed down a section. So, and he said the guards are like, we're bored because no one wants to lose the privilege of having two set. Like they have a living room in their bedroom. Like, yeah,
Wow.
I just didn't know that about Stillwater was closing.
So,
Cost $1 billion was the estimate to get her up to snuff.
wow.
Surprising.
People are going elsewhere then.
I guess.
Wow.
Right. I don't know. It's a state facility, right? State prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's the isn't the hardened criminals there? That's
No, that's Oak Park.
Oak Park Heights. Yeah.
okay. It was Stillwater.
And then we got a big Fed up in Duluth. Is it? We have a federal prison.
One out in Sandstone,
Sandstone.
Sandstone.
up that way.
And there's different places where they're housed locally. Like,
I'm just,
you know,
yeah.
Sherburne,
Yeah.
Workhouse.
And then Hennepin or county ones.
Yeah.
What I should know. I don't like knowing about jails.
Anyway,
That's a 9-step stuff.
The Niner.
It's the nothing finer than step niner.
Yeah.
So, while I have you kids here and I got the scheduler here, next month we would like to see Rick and Misty back on. What does the 27th look like for you? Hey, boss.
Yeah.
You know what? I might be in Mexico.
Yeah, and I might be out of town too.
But the 20th,
Or maybe
because the 6th and the 13th are no go.
I have a haircut at 2:00, so I can do it.
On the 20th?
Yeah.
How does
I mean-
dad's look? His schedule.
He can do it.
All right. So you guys don't want to miss out on step 10 because that's what's next after 9. And that talks about some daily maintenance stuff. That's very important if you think it is. So Rick and Misty will be back on the 20th of February. 4-step workshop 2218 on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. It's you park in the parking lot, you go right into the auditorium door. There'll be a green light on that by the door, so you'll know it's unlocked. You can go right in. If you don't have a big book, it's fine. You can still show up. They have little they have worksheets they hand out. It's interactive if you want it to be interactive, or you can sit and listen. But it's good. I've been there quite a few different times, and we've had people come on and talk about it. That's right. There's something else. We've had people come on and talk about it. No, I'm burnt out. There was something that whatever. Whatever. I'm forgetful Jones. So Jacob J and let's see here. There we go. A little slow. Leroy and Jacob and Rambo and EJ and Charlie and Jess and Tommy, Frank, and everyone from YouTube and TikTok and the other platform it's on. Thank you guys for all with the support, and we appreciate it. And also Misty. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Freezing time.
Oh,
Like
just everyone does this.
yeah. And
Oh,
then
that's a little creepy.
yeah.
What are you gonna do to poor Rick when he's like froze? He'll come to all naked.
You guys won't know.
I guess we will, except for the bruises. So Rick, pick a number 1 through 100.
99.
I think you have. If
You
you could teach a class on one thing, what would you teach? Yeah, well, you had no. Pick another number.
Yeah,
The transcendental doctor here. You picked that. Yeah, you had.
Yeah, you
Yeah, you
have.
have. And it was meditation.
you said
Well,
that.
maybe it's different now.
If you could teach a class in anything, what would it be?
4-step.
If you could teach a class in something you've never taught a class in, pick another number 1 through 100.
2.
2. Nice and early here. If you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
A badger.
Honey badger?
They don't give a shit. He's been watching those videos.
If you if you could be any animal, what would it be?
Jeez. I don't know. I'll just go with the dog.
The dog. If you had to sing a karaoke song right now on the spot, what would your song be?
I already know your answers.
Mustang Sally. No, I
did
don't.
it my way.
Oh.
Frankie. Yeah, that's a
I'm gonna
good
say,
one.
like, things gotta change, or the
Chump.
chunky, or whatever things that need to change. It's a time for change, or okay.
Misty,
Changes.
if you had to sing a
Change gotta
karaoke
come.
song right now,
I will survive.
I will survive. Oh, that's that woman empowerment song.
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria Estefan. No.
Um,
I will survive. That's like an 80s, early 80s or something.
it's an easy tune to sing. I used to sing it.
So if I walked you guys into the karaoke room right now, would you sing those songs? Either of
Oh,
you?
for sure.
Oh, that's
I just gotta get something for my car first.
Frank's the what? You got some type of a oh yeah, I get, and then we don't see her. Frank's the easy one to sing. Oh, it's a good one. It's a fun one to always sing. Frank.
Yeah.
Pick a number 1 through 100. These are fun sometimes.
Lucky 13.
We gotta slow. Yeah. All right. Morning person or night person?
I think I was morning person. Now I'm more night.
Because of him.
Yeah.
I know he's a night person.
He is a night.
I'd ask you that, but you're a night person. Yeah. Pick a number 1 through 100, please, Rick.
5.
Who is your hero in life?
Alfred E. Newman.
From Mad Magazine?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I am sad. I know who it is. I'm older than you.
How old are you?
Were you born in the 70s?
77.
Oh, okay, you're older than me.
I thought I was.
How don't you know who Mad Magazine is?
I don't know.
Was it a boy? It was more of a boy thing,
Yeah.
though. It was.
I've heard of Mad Magazine.
He's
I
a
never
red
heard-
hair, buck teeth, little
Oh, yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Pick a number 1 through 100.
74.
74. What breed of dog would you be? I guess this is part 2 of your other question
yeah,
then.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. What breed of dog would you be if you had to be a dog?
You are a Chihuahua.
Hmm.
I am.
Yeah.
I guess a Chihuahua.
If you could choose any 2 people to have dinner with, living or dead, who would it be?
Any 2 people?
2 people to have dinner with. Who would they be? Dead, not living, dead. Oh, one dead, one alive. Any 2 people. You know what? Any 2 people. I'm going to modify this a little. Any 2 people, living or dead.
Who would I have dinner with?
I'm always curious. No one ever says the thing that I think of right away. But any 2 people, living or dead, in history.
Oh, I don't know. Probably Jesus.
There you go. Why?
That's-
Of course I'd want to be Jesus.
Yeah.
Probably Jesus and God. I'd watch them bicker. No. But okay.
Who else?
Who else? No, I don't.
Hitler.
Hitler. That would be. I'd want to see what bullshit we've been fed about him.
Oh, I know what bullshit we've been.
You know. He's got
He's
the
in the
diary.
deep
He
web.
found his. Yeah, I was gonna say he found the diary. 2 people, living or dead.
Well, I was gonna say Jesus.
You can still say Jesus.
And then my grandfather.
Nice. I do like the Hitler one. I
Yeah.
never thought of that.
Get some
We got to
history
talk about that
knowledge.
later because I need to hear some of your insight. I love you. You guys out. You guys have some information that, and I believe what you say. Damn it! All right, pick. All right, well, one more here. Number 1 through 100, and then when you're done, you can drop the mic.
Drop the mic. 48.
48.
I think I picked this one before.
If you were a wrestler, what would your wrestling entrance song be?
Oh, I did. It said these boots are made for walking.
Pick another number.
Okay, 49.
If you could bring back any fashion trend, what would it be?
Bell bottoms. I love bell bottoms.
If you could bring back any fashion trend, what would it be?
I do. Glasses.
Glasses.
Yeah. Wire rim glasses. Kids come up to me all the time. I'm really hip
Those-
right now.
Those ones that you had on, the wireless or the armless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got young people come up to me and they can't believe it. The glasses, they love them.
You guys are
I'm
amazing.
setting
You're resetting the trend.
no, see, I don't follow the trends. I set them.
You set them. You're a trend setter with no ego. Ah.
Well, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
Well, then, all right, Mr. Non-ego setter, what's your gratitude look like today?
100%.
100% gratitude of what?
Oh, everyone.
He's so fun.
I know.
You may- you know what? If we weren't doing this, I got to have you on just as a guest again, just a guest, and we got to hear your story again because I got to remember how to ask you the type of questions to get you to respond. I somehow been asking questions lately where people are like, "Yep, nope, over there, up, down." I'm supposed to pose questions in a way where you will respond in a
to
statement
get you to open up.
or something, just so there's some talking going on. What's your gratitude look like, Misty?
My gratitude looks like I think I'm just grateful that I'm doing things that work again. You know, like how you kind of go up and down in sobriety, and I feel like I'm just making a commitment like Rick does to just show up for the things that work. Like, and I'm grateful for that because I can feel it. It feels different.
Fucking fruits of your labors.
Yeah.
Fruits of your labors. All right. You know what? We went 1 hour, 47 minutes. We did good, guys. It felt like 20 minutes.
It felt like
A lot of reading. All right. Hey, it's me again. Camera's back on me. So if you're out there tonight struggling, as always, please reach out. You're having them self-harm thoughts, what have you, down 988. Again, I did finally do some research and I dialed that number and listened to how it goes. They're pretty friendly. They don't sit and be like, what's your name? Where you at? They're there to listen. So if you're looking for someone to listen, you can dial that number. Or if you're looking for meetings, dial Intergroup. Come on down to Will Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North, 7 days a week. And we got a lot of things coming down the pipelines here, kids. We're about to start up with events again and all this, that, the third. If nobody told you, listen up. You're loved. You're worth this life of recovery. Reach out. Please reach out if you need. Bye, Z's.
Bye.
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 All right.